On today's edition of Cosmo Times,
it's all about some comic action in our Cosmo cities.
From JHU Comic Book Store in New York City
to comic artist Jim Mafood in Los Angeles.
And we will talk about Avengers in Shanghai. Hi everyone, welcome to our comic books episode of Cosmo Times.
Dude, seriously, I love comic books.
Like
Walking Dead, East to West, Saga, Black Sad, the X-Men. Dude, I love comics.
Oh, alright.
Yeah, man, East to West, Science Gate, you know, going through crazy portals and getting spliced with genes of like a mosquito or something and coming out half woman, half man. Craziness.
Okay, anyways, let's check out this week's Word on the Street.
We'll find out what superhero or villain you think is the most useless or the coolest.
Comics are everywhere, from the books to the feature films. But what character is people's favorite and their least? I'm hitting the streets to find out.
Why?
Spider-Man.
Talk to me.
He climbs buildings, he can rescue me. Like, I mean, come on. If I fall off a building, he'll catch me.
Guess it would be Superwoman because we can do it all.
I guess Wolverine. I'm not sure why.
My 6-year-old loves Spider-Man. I guess because he could climb.
Superwoman, because she's like the best woman in the world. Batman, probably.
Wonder Woman, of course. Because she's powerful, bodacious, and she's a superhero. She has cool jewelry.
Accessories speak volumes. Who is a superhero you're not impressed with?
The Joker, because he's mean.
Superman. Really, what does he do? Just flies?
I guess Spider-Man, because it's hard to believe that the touch of the wrist, that those webs could hold that much weight and support. It's kind of stupid, I think.
I guess Spider-Man. It's just not very impressive superpower.
Maybe like Batman. Probably the Hulk. Yeah.
Why the Hulk?
Doesn't do much. Just green, yeah.
Green and mean. Well, this is a first for Word on the Street. The top spot also is the bottom spot. Looks like Spider-Man is the most and least favorite of New Yorkers, and Superwoman also is very notable as well. Now, as for me, my favorite comic book character, I'd have to say, is Batman. I think he's really cool, and I love Christian Bale. Reporting from New York, I'm Christy Conlon.
We all know those superheroes that save the day and those ice-cold villains, but which superheroes don't have that cool factor? Let's go for a wander in Melbourne and see what people have to say.
I would probably say Spider-Man.
That man that looks like a big rock, he doesn't look very cool. What's his name?
I'd probably go with either Spider-Man or maybe Batman.
Superhero? Oh, Ned Kelly.
Not cool?
Not cool, not cool.
Not the green one, the Hulk.
Not the Hulk, no. He looks all, you know, he's like a rock. If you guys don't know him, maybe he's really ancient. I don't know.
Have you seen that movie where there's a character called Spleen?
No, but tell us about Spleen.
Spleen, it's this series of sort of anti-superheroes, you know, misfits in society who are trying to become superheroes. And my favourite one there is Spleen, who his I guess his special skill is, you know, passing wind and clearing the room. So yeah.
I don't know about superhero, but the Hulk is yeah, doesn't do much for me, really. There's not much purpose, I don't think, for him.
Oh, SpongeBob. I think he's a waste of space.
I was going to say the Hulk because all he does is smash things up. He sort of doesn't really...
Not very productive, really.
No, not at all.
I'm not sure. That's a hard one. I'm a bit undated with my superheroes.
I have no idea. Sorry. I'm not sure which ones are bad. I'm not really very good at watching superhero films.
No, neither. Sorry. Maybe the Incredible Hulk. Because, I mean, children can't aspire to be the Incredible Hulk.
So the least loved superhero here in Melbourne, that title goes to the Incredible Hulk, with his destructiveness and anger not really seen as very useful or something to aspire to, unless you want to spend your whole life at the gym. I'm Andrew Moon, now back to Shanghai.
Okay, so who doesn't love to have superpowers? You could either save the world or take over the world. But when you think about it, there are some superpowers that are already created that does make you think twice. So our question for this week Word on the Street is, what superhero or villain do you think is the least useful or cool? Let's go find out.
我觉得《熊出没》里面的光头强是最没有用的啦，因为他每次去伐木的时候都会被熊大和熊二给破坏，然后他们打架的时候，他每次也打不过他们，然后最后还被他们给驯服，然后成为好朋友了。
我觉得是蜡笔小新，虽然是个小孩，但是他的思维方式感觉自己是个大人，但是因为本身思想不是很成熟，所以就模仿大人会一直干出一些很幼稚的事情。
我觉得那个《功夫熊猫》里边那只熊猫吧，开始的话就笨笨的那种，那后面可能通过其他人的指导，功夫方面就劲感很大，还蛮厉害的那种。
我觉得是《圣斗士星矢》里面的雅典娜，说说是女神，一天到晚需要各个青铜圣斗士来保护她，自己却发挥不出任何实力。
最没用的是《喜羊羊与灰太狼》里面的灰太狼，因为他每次都抓不到羊，还会被小绵羊们欺负。
我觉得那就是汤姆猫吧。明明猫就是老鼠的天敌嘛，可是它能被一只小老鼠耍得团团转，不过也感觉也挺有爱的，也是一直很喜欢看的一个动画片。
《灌篮高手》里面的樱木花道是比较没有用的英雄，因为他刚加入篮球社的时候，其实是为了他喜欢的女孩子签字，但是他做不了什么大事情，所以就觉得他比较没有用。
我觉得柯南里边的那个毛利小五郎吧，因为他每次突然都要依靠柯南了，狐假虎威嘛，就没什么真本事，但是办事好像给人结果很多他自己做的。
So we know there are some lame superheroes and villains, but if you think about it, having any kind of superpower is actually pretty cool. I mean, who doesn't want to be turned into an ant? As for me, maybe a butterfly. This is Christine for Shanghai Word on the Street. Fluttering away.
So it looks like we got quite a variety of superheroes and villains to choose from.
You know who I think is the most useless of superheroes?
Do tell.
Well, I mean, Ant-Man.
What does he do? Turn into an ant?
No, he just gets really, really small, like the size of an ant, and then solves mysteries.
How is that possible?
I actually don't know. I mean, I think it's Pym particles, maybe?
Want to find out more about today's episode?
Well, don't move a muscle, because when we come back,
we will check out the premium comic book store in New York City.
And then it's off to LA to talk to comic book artist Jim Mahfood.
Cosm time. Cosm time.
Welcome back, everyone.
You know, I still don't get it. How is turning into an insect help you solve crimes?
No, the size of an insect. Not an insect, he turns the size of an insect.
Yeah,
and he has an ant helmet.
But how does that solve crimes?
I mean, he can get into small places, like behind bookshelves and under tables. A lot of crimes happen there. Plus, I mean, ants are dangerous.
As an ant?
No, dude, no. The size of an ant shrinks to the size of an ant, not an actual ant.
I still don't get it.
New York City search.
happens when words and art come alive on the same page? We're going to find out today. If you're looking for an out-of-the-box comic experience, then you're going to want to come and visit Nick here at JHU Comic Books. Great to see you, Nick.
Nice to see you too.
So I am so excited to take a peek around the store. What kind of things do you have here?
There are kids comic books, there are superhero comics. There's every genre from horror to crime to any science fiction any you can think of, to slice-of-life comics where people talk about their regular lives and what they do, down to homemade and mini comics that people are producing in their own homes.
Nestled in Midtown, JHU has been providing comic lovers of all ages with international, national, and local reads for over 30 years. The niche store also makes the experience jump off the page, literally, with their selection of merchandise and collectibles. While the books found in the store cover a broad array of topics, it's a new and upcoming idea in American comic culture.
Japan, I feel like, had long embraced what America is embracing now, which is comics for everyone. People are starting to write about things that aren't just superheroes and stuff like this. It's been going on for a long time in comic books, but I feel like the general public is starting to really notice it.
I come from France, and in France we don't have so many comic stores like this, so I will like it. And I could discover also new different comics that I've never seen before in France.
Incorporating different genres onto national shelves might be a new concept, but combining literature and art definitely is not. Comics originated in Japan in the 1700s and the 1830s in Europe, and comic books became popular in the US in the 1930s. Over the years, the characters in the stories grew, and their readers grew up right along with them.
Well, one of the things I like to say about being a comic store owner is people have told me for the last 40 years that one day I'll need to grow out of this. And no, you really don't have to grow out of it.
And when I was young, I loved the cartoon Batman. So I grew up with this cartoon, and then I loved the movie from Christopher Nolan, so I like comics.
With so many comics being made into feature films, fans old and new can experience the next generation together.
They're like stories that are part of like a larger narrative and universe. I mean, they're like modern gods or something.
The young kid goes, wow, I'm interested in Avengers, and the old guy goes, yeah, I used to read Avengers, that was great. Well, what's going on now? Or did they reprint the stuff from when I was a kid? And I feel like that tie-in really makes it more of a community situation.
Nick, we've talked all about comics, the superheroes and the super ladies that we've got going on. I would love to check it out, shall we?
Come on.
All right.
Well, here's our kids section, which I'm quite proud of. To have stuff like Asterix and Tintin and Lucky Luke, these are things that maybe not as popular here in America, but they're the most popular things in Europe. So when people come in and they come to America and they come visiting in Manhattan, these are things to catch their eye.
I love this kids section, but it's time to graduate and get a little bit older, so let's go check it out. Okay, this is my realm of comfort right here. These guys look very recognizable.
Well, what we have up here is a feature zone. It's right in front of the counter at the front of the store. And what we try to do is keep the big event things that are happening right now, like Convergence. DC is having a giant event through all their titles called Convergence. After the excitement of all things Daredevil, we have to have Daredevil up front. You know, Age of Ultron out, you have to have Age of Ultron in front.
Brace yourself, this is my kind of comic. This guy looks pretty familiar. What is this?
That's Mr. Anderson Cooper. He was featured in a recent Black Widow comic book.
And it looks like Anderson Cooper's good looks translated to the comic book.
They drew him well.
I'm taking this home with me. While comic book characters get a following, the creators can be superheroes in real life.
We were first introduced to Neil Gaiman with Sandman, and he made a huge mark in comic books by doing this. But he also continued to write novels. And he made many successful novels, such as Coraline, which also were transferred into films. So I love the combination of both worlds. Well, this is Guy Delis. He does. He started doing stuff called travelogues, and this is Shenzhen, a travelogue from China, and he did it from his experience being an animator over there. And then stuff like A Guide to Neglectful Parenting, which is all about being an animator and being around and having to deal with your child, and it's a really adorable book. These are what we call art comics or mini comics. A good portion of these people are local artists and people around the country who are self-making these comic books. These are self-produced comic books, and that's where the comic store is a very important hub for people to come, because that's where they can meet their creators, they can meet their peers, they can find out what's going on in the community and enjoy it. And that's the best part.
Whether your favorite character is Batman, Wonder Woman, or a crime-fighting puppy, one thing's for sure. Comics have proven to stand the test of time. And just like their drawings, they truly come to life with creativity, imagination, and community. Reporting from New York, I'm Christy Cummins.
Well, that's definitely the spot for me. I mean, I think I could really call that place home.
How can a comic book store be your home?
Well, you know, I feel comfortable there. I can read comics all day, chill out.
Sounds boring.
What? You didn't just say that, Mincy. I mean,
Oh, I think it is time for our LX research.
Since we're very young, we've always been around comics and cartoons. Now we're gonna meet a comic artist, James Marfoot, who is the father of the famous comic series Girl Scouts. I can't wait anymore. Here we go.
James Marfoot, an American comic book creator, was born and raised in St. Louis, Missouri.
I've done different books for Marvel through the years, some Spider-Man stuff, but there's always these moments where you get to draw like Wolverine or something, and it's just really awesome and thrilling because I grew up as a kid like reading those characters and books. The movies weren't out yet, but you know, the cartoons were, the comic books were. So like I'm working for Marvel right now on a project, and it's just kind of a fun thing to be able to play with their toys. You know, because me and my friends grew up on that stuff.
At the age of 18, Jim formed the studio 40 Oz Comics and started self-publishing his own work in 1995 with the first issue of Girl Scouts.
Why did you start to do self-publishing thing, like with your friends, or why you decided to do that?
We did that because no one would hire us, so we...
Is it hard to get into this industry at first?
Yeah, like this was pre-internet too, so we were mailing in samples of our work to like Marvel and DC and going to comic book conventions and waiting in line to talk to editors. And nothing was happening, we weren't getting work. So we just kind of used our resources at art school and said, hey, we can write and draw our own comics, print them on campus, distribute them to the local record stores and coffee shops and comic shops.
In 1997, James scored his first big break with Marvel Comics, where he got to write and draw the bizarre X-Men related Generation X Underground Special.
I was at a comic book show in St. Louis, and this guy named Scott Lobdell, who was writing most of the X-Men books at Marvel at the time, he saw one of my self-published The Girl Scouts comic book. I gave him one, and he brought it back to New York and showed it around the Marvel Comics offices. And a young editor there named Jason Liebig called me out of the blue and just said, hey, do you want to, let's talk, like you should do something for us. This is the cover for my new book I'm doing for Marvel. It's called Howard the Human, and it's based on, there's a Guardians of the Galaxy character called Howard the Duck, who's like a duck detective. And we're doing this weird version of it where instead of being a duck, he's a human, but he's trapped in an all-animal universe. It's basically broken down page by page, panel by panel, what is happening and what the dialogue is. And then it's up to me, the artist, to choose the shots, the panels, of how this is all done visually, how the storytelling is conveyed through visuals. I really just enjoy like the feeling of the brush and like the tools on the paper, the texture, and I've tried to do it digitally, but I can't get like the same, I just can't get the same feeling. I really enjoy being in the studio. It's like my place of peace and nirvana. So it's like, I just turn on the music and I draw, and then like 10 hours goes by.
With superheroes, comics, fantasy, and science fiction beings, comic artists like Jim really filled up our childhood with his imagination. I'm Xiaoying, reporting from Los Angeles.
Time to take that break again.
But when we come back, we check out the Avengers.
Right here in our Shanghai City Search.
Cosmo time. Cosmo time.
Welcome back.
So what do you think?
About what?
About the comic book artist we just saw.
Oh, that guy was awesome. Super raw, you know, I dig it.
Oh, goodness, I think I just broke my nail.
You've been listening to me? This is...
Not really.
All right, let's go to this week's Shanghai City Search.
One of the most anticipated films of the year, Avengers Age of Ultron is finally hit cinemas across China. With Avengers 2, we're seeing the superhero team unite to fight their newest foe and save the Earth against the evil Ultron. In the first week alone here in mainland China, Avengers 2 has already brought in almost $1 billion RMB. But let's dig deeper into the Marvel Universe and find out how one of the world's biggest comic companies is taking over cinema.
All set up, boss.
Actually, he's the boss. I just pay for everything.
The success of the Avengers 2 is largely due to the fact they've brought back some of our favorite comic book heroes, and being played by names like Robert Downey Jr.,
Time to work for a living.
Chris Evans,
But just
and a pregnant Scarlett Johansson certainly helps.
Hey, big guy.
The filming is great. It's like summer camp. It doesn't feel like work at all.
That just happened.
In this one, we're together a lot, which is great for us, terrible for Joss, because it's tough to wrangle 10 crazy actors that love each other.
Them having that kind of comfortable ease with each other is a delight. Every now and then, it's an exhausting delight.
I never want to work with these kids, but I'll get them there.
The new Avengers movie was also filmed in a number of different countries like Britain, Italy, and Korea, using over 3,000 special effects scenes. It's certainly taken advantage of the newest special effect techniques that Hollywood has to offer. As the 11th Marvel Universe film, The Avengers 2 is the third to bring in over $1 billion at the box office. And with 2015 marking the 75th anniversary of Marvel Comics, many of us are looking back and rediscovering the roots and origins of one of the world's biggest comic book companies.
I think Marvel will be known as a company that has provided some of the greatest super characters for the public.
It's the most dominant pop culture on the planet right now.
It's what's under the mask that counts.
I'm bringing the party to you.
Back in 1939, when the US was in the midst of its depression, the appearance of superheroes in the Marvel comic strip known as Timely Comics provided a great escape for many US undergoing hard times. And at its forefront was Captain America, representing the American spirit.
It was a patriotic type of book, and it was the right time.
Yeah, he's our guy. This is what we stand for. And that's what Captain America was to an entire generation.
But it wasn't long until new heroes followed, much like Spider-Man, Thor, Iron Man. Marvel rapidly went from a small comic to a household name, competing with the likes of Superman and Batman from DC Comics. However, good times don't last forever, and with fierce competition, Marvel went through rumors of bankruptcy during the 80s and 90s. but it's precisely then that Marvel decided to leap forward and cross over into film and television. In 2008, they presented their first movie, Iron Man.
People doubted us.
This is clearly never going to work out.
Iron Man is like a lower tier Marvel character. Tony Stark, who cares?
And though it was a massive gamble, it also proved to be a huge success.
That you recognize, they made it look like it exists in this world.
The character Tony Stark, played by Robert Downey Jr., is as iconic as the red and gold armor itself.
It was the right film at the right time.
The following 6 movies, including Avengers 1 in 2012, have brought in over $3.7 billion at the box office, certainly helped bring Marvel out of difficult times. Then, at the end of 2008, the Walt Disney Corporation acquired Marvel Entertainment. Paying a high price for the comic book company, they also brought them to a new global stage. For many kids, comic book characters were a large part of their life. And for many, seeing them on screen was a welcome surprise. And now with comic book movies showing no signs of slowing down, it won't be long until we see even more of our favorite characters in the cinema.
Nope.
Well, it looks like it's that time again.
So don't you worry,
Because when we come back, it's time for some creative source.
bringing you the latest in entertainment news.
Costume time. Costume time.
Welcome back.
Fun fact, did you know for the Avengers that Ant-Man and his girlfriend the Wasp
I don't
are
care.
actually... Okay, but they're like the founding members of the team. You know, if not for them, there would be no Avengers.
I don't care.
Okay, I'm just saying, saving the world from despair, entire human race in their hands.
Yeah, I think it's time for creative source.
Over 3,000 images. A 30-minute multimedia symphony. An unforgettable multi-sensory experience. Displaying Van Gogh's masterpiece in larger-than-life proportion, the exhibition of the year, Van Gogh Alive, redefines a traditional museum experience. Be prepared to start a journey with the turbulent life and artwork of the famous Dutch painter Vincent van Gogh. Enter into the castle-like structure on Taiping Lake Park, and you'll be absorbed into Van Gogh's world. The Dutch master's better-known artworks fill your eyes with their colors as they appear one after another out of the darkness.
Well, it's dynamic because it's moving. You don't normally see art move. So some of the art has been animated so that whilst it doesn't detract from looking at the piece of art, it comes to life in front of people's eyes.
Different from traditional exhibitions, Van Gogh Alive will stimulate your senses and change your beliefs about what an exhibition can and should be.
现在的观展的方式在改变，关键是这种形式，它能够解决了一个你永远不能够看全梵高所有作品真迹展的这么一个遗憾。
有的时候就没有原作胜过原作。那么第一个你看得起，另外原作呢，它随着时代呢年代它会变旧，它颜色肯定没像在高科技图像制作处理以后那种鲜艳度、亮度。
In an instant, Van Gogh Alive transports to another time and place, immersing them in the artist's world.
Starry, starry night.
Paint your palette blue and gray. Look out on a summer's day.
All the wow factor comes in thanks to the cutting-edge new technology called Sensory 4. 40 high-definition projectors cast out more than 3,000 images, accompanied by sound as if in a cinema. Sensory 4 is a completely new media platform, which allows the visitors to be immersed in the artwork rather than to simply observe it.
But really, Sensory 4 is the world's only walk-through cinematic experience where people walk through, move, stand in different positions and look, and it's happening 360 degrees all around them.
The high-definition projection of the images will transport the visitors into Van Gogh's world, immersing them in all the glorious details of his masterpieces, his extraordinary technique, and for his unique and avant-garde approach to color.
如果要说跟上海有一些结合，或者说更加接地气吧，我们整个团队就创意把他的那个夜晚的露天咖啡馆，把它搬到石顶当中。
Having a cup of coffee in the Van Gogh Cafe is a great way to enjoy the ideorellum of the master's painting. The journey through Van Gogh's paintings is enriched with the projection of the sketches of his artwork, which enables the spectator to better understand the artistic origins of his work, as well as some verses of his letters which offer a vision of his life, his ideas, and his troubled state of mind. The exhibition also enhances the mobile experience, with the guided tour happening entirely on your smartphone. The organizer's public WeChat account offers an audio guide and introduction, with both graphics and text syncing with the images the visitor is seeing in real time. It allows both an artistic appreciation as well as an art education.
Look, the educational meaning is really, really important. It is to have children and younger adults come here and engage in the art, and they don't necessarily have to understand every single detail and why he painted this like this or not, but it's just get a real appreciation of, wow, this is actually cool. Art can be cool. Look at the big brush strokes, look at the detail that's there, look at the emotion that's there. That's something is very difficult to see from a book.
Another highlight of the exhibition is the over 1,000 additional works of design. Adding a local flavor, Chinese painter Chen Daqing's wife, designer Huang Suning, designed a handbag and scarf for the gallery. As a part of the Shanghai International Arts Festival, Van Gogh Alive will be open to the public at the Taiping Lake Park in Xintiandi until August 30th. The vibrant symphony of light, color, and sound provides an unforgettable multi-sensory experience. Recently, an exhibition looking at climate change from a new angle was just held at the Shanghai World Financial Center. 5 Swedish cartoonists took a sharp and disturbing look at climate change in order to raise more awareness of sustainability and environmental protection. Local visitors from Shanghai also created their own paintings to discuss sustainable issues and show the current state of environmental protection. The exhibition will be on until May 22nd. Meanwhile, on the ground floor at the Shanghai World Financial Center, a Nordic Spring garden was erected in order to give the space a bit more greenness.
Okay, finally, it's the end of today's show.
You sound way too happy about that, Mency.
Do I?
You know, I went to Shanghai Comic-Con this year. Pretty awesome stuff. And I'll tell you what, I wish Chun-Li was here right now.
Why? Who's Chun-Li?
Well, I mean, Street Fighter 2, dude, Chun-Li, she kicks ass.
Okay, anyways, thanks for watching. See you next week. So So looks like we had. Sorry, we have or we had what?
So it looks like we got.
Oh, we got quite a variety.
Okay.
You want to have a
How can
Sorry.
What? Sorry, I couldn't
You can
really
just say that.
Right. Okay. Wait, sorry. My brain is slow.
Here.
Can we do it again? I can make that better.
Okay, 再来啊，3,
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
You know what do you care about, Menzi? If not, this is creative source. What's the last one, just in case? What is the last one, just in case it comes down to it?
Slow.
Yeah, all right, let's try it. Whatever, we'll get it.
落嚟係啦。